by Barry Wilner. Associated Press call it December definition. We'll learn plenty about the various playoff contenders this week when the Eagles visit the Rams, the Vikings take on the Panthers, the Seahawks meet the Jaguars, the Raiders are at the Chiefs, and the Ravens head to Pittsburgh. The Eagles, Rams, Jaguars, Vikings and Steelers all have ways of clinching postseason berths. So do the Patriots, who visit Miami. Most intriguing might be Philadelphia 102 at Los Angeles 93. The Eagles had their 9-game winning streak snapped at Seattle, then stayed out west trying to figure out why an offense that had been dominant was shut down. Now they take on the Rams, with an equally dangerous offense and, like Philly, a division leader. I think sometimes, winning can kind of cover up or mask some things, some deficiencies, Eagles coach Doug Peterson said. A little chink in your armor, if there is any. And coaches and players fall into the same boat sometimes. We need games where we get hit in the mouth and we have to fight and battle and scratch. You just have to understand that there's no substitute for the preparation and the hard work. The coolest of matchups has Rams QB Jared Goff, the top selection in the 2016 draft, against Eagles QB Carson Wentz, who went second overall that year. Both have matured rapidly, sparking turnarounds that could lead to, well, the Super Bowl. A Philadelphia win gives it the NFC East title. So does a Dallas loss. Should the Rams win, a complicated formula gives them a playoff spot. The pivotal week began Thursday night with the Atlanta Falcons' 2017 victory over the New Orleans Saints that set up a three-way race for the NFC South title. Deion Jones made a leaping interception in the end zone with 125 remaining for the Falcons' 85 after Drew Brees drove the Saints 94 to the Atlanta 11, Minnesota 102 at Carolina 84. The Vikings haven't gotten to the top of the NFC the easy way. They've already played New Orleans, Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Atlanta, Green Bay and the Rams, none of which has a losing record. Most of those teams will make the playoffs. Now, a trip to Carolina, which also is in the NFC mix. A victory in Charlotte, with Cincinnati, Green Bay and Chicago remaining, would stamp the Vikings as a conference favorite. And remember, the Super Bowl will be played in Minneapolis in February. The Panthers must improve late in games. Carolina has been outscored 7,558 in fourth quarter. They are hopeful that standout tight end Greg Olsen can contribute more in his return from a broken foot. Baltimore 75 at Pittsburgh 102. Pittsburgh's victory over Cincinnati on Monday night was brutal, marred by malicious hits, launching and taunting on both sides. Now, the Steelers get their biggest rival in what always has been a physical affair. When you play Baltimore, you are going to get your head knocked off, they're going to knock your head off, you're going to try to knock theirs off, but you're going to help them up and respect it, and say hey great job, let's go at it again, Steelers quarterback Ben Roethlisberger says. The Steelers need to step up their game, despite having won 7 in a row. They are barely getting by inferior opponents, and the Ravens, no matter the situation, are always dangerous for Pittsburgh. Preventing the Steelers from winning the AFC North is almost as prime a goal for Baltimore as remaining in front for a wild-card berth. Seattle 84 at Jacksonville 84, Tennessee 84 at Arizona 57. The AFC South race, with a huge dose of NFC West. Tennessee holds the tiebreaker right now over Jacksonville, but the teams finish off the schedule against each other. The Titans are the only franchise never to have played at University of Phoenix Stadium. In their visit Sunday, they bring a potent running game of DeMarco Murray and Derrick Henry, who's coming off his second career 100-yard rushing game, including a 75-yard run against Houston. Tennessee hasn't allowed an opponent to run for more than 100 yards in 8 straight games, the longest streak in NFL this season, which doesn't bode well for Arizona's Adrian Peterson. Jacksonville has a much tougher task, even at home. Although Seattle has some key injuries in its secondary, the defense has stepped up and shut down Philadelphia last week. The offense, as sensational QB Russell Wilson states his case for league MVP, has been dynamic, particularly now that Jimmy Graham has become a major force. With a series of occurrences, the Jags can clinch a playoff spot. Oakland 66 at Kansas City 66, Washington 57 at Los Angeles Chargers 66. If it's not the best rivalry in pro football, Raiders Chiefs is top 3. That it has so much meaning. Sunday is like adding a tasty dessert to some delicious Kansas City barbecue. Raiders coach Jack Del Rio explains the AFC West situation best. There's a better feel when you're winning and doing things well. For us, it's about the next game, Del Rio says. We had our stretch. The Chargers had theirs the first 4 games. We had ours, 4 in a row after winning 2. The Chiefs have had a little bit of a spell. Yet we all sit here at 66 with an opportunity. Which team takes the most advantage of that opportunity is sitting there. Lately, that team has looked like LA. And they get perhaps the most injury-ruined squad in the league in the Redskins, who have lost 5 of 7. The Chargers have racked up more than 400 yards in 3 straight games while outscoring opponents 10,140. Philip Rivers has completed 72% of his passes for 1,029 yards, 6 TDs, no interceptions in the past 3 weeks. Keenan Allen became the first player in NFL history with 10-plus catches for 100-plus yards and at least 1 TD in 3 straight games. New England 102 at Miami 57. Monday night the Patriots haven't secured their 9th straight AFC East crown by kickoff time. A Buffalo loss does the trick on Sunday. They are heavily favored to get the clincher here. One main reason the Patriots are +9 in turnover differential, 4th best in the NFL. The Dolphins are -10, 3rd worst. The Patriots have won 8 games in a row, and though Rob Gronkowski will be serving a 1-game suspension for a late, gratuitous hit to the head of Bills defensive back Tre'Davious White, Tom Brady isn't likely to miss him much. Miami RB Kenyon Drake had a breakout game last week with 120 yards rushing, and New England is allowing 5.1 yards per rush, worst in the league. Green Bay 66 at Cleveland 0-1-2. The house cleaning has begun in Cleveland with the firing on Thursday of Vice President Sashi Brown. There's little reason to think that, or anything else, will lead to a Browns victory against a Packers team holding out hope of reach wildcard status. Green Bay should get back star quarterback Aaron Rodgers' collarbone next week, and if it doesn't stumble here, the team will give cheeseheads some hope for the final 3 weeks. Indianapolis 39 at Buffalo 66. 2 banged-up teams whose best remaining options are their running backs. Indeed, Indy's Frank Gore and Buffalo's LaShawn McCoy are worthy of top billing. Gore leads the active list and last weekend moved into 5th place overall with 13,697 yards rushing. McCoy is 3rd on the active list and 31st overall with 9,805 yards. With Bills QB Tyrod Taylor bruised left knee uncertain, rookie Nate Peterman could get his 2nd start. All anyone needs to know about his first one: Peterman threw 5 interceptions in the first half. Dallas 66 at New York Giants 210. A classic matchup with little significance this year. Dallas finally won without suspended star running back Ezekiel Elliott when it beat Washington, but making a playoff push is a long shot in the rugged NFC. A loss would cap a bad week for owner Jerry Jones, whose fight to delay Commissioner Roger Goodell's new contract was fruitless. Eli Manning gets his job back. How insulting was the way his starting string ended, now that Steve Spagnuolo has replaced the fired Ben McAdoo as coach. Big days for tight ends Jason Witten of Dallas and rookie Evan Engram of New York could be on tap. Detroit 66 at Tampa Bay 48. Opponents can pass on Tampa Bay, and that's about all the Lions can do. But with QB Matthew Stafford's health and uncertain, counting on Detroit's attack makes little sense. Detroit has won 3 of the past 4 meetings. Key matchup figures to be Buccaneers receiver Mike Evans against cornerback Darius Slay, who is tied for the NFC lead with 15 passes defensed. Evans has been better at home than on the road recently with 696 receiving yards and 7 TDs over his past 9 at Raymond James Stadium. New York Jets 57 at Denver 39. Denver has been on a Rocky Mountain low for 2 months, dropping 8 consecutive games. With an inept defense, the defense has gotten worn down, but it does get back CB Aqib Talib from a 1-game suspension. The Jets play everyone tough, and will have a say in the AFC West outcome. They defeated Kansas City last Sunday and still must play the Chargers. Chicago 39 at Cincinnati 57. Other than Cleveland, the Bears might be the NFL's worst side. They have the NFL's lowest-ranked defense, have lost 5 in a row, they haven't dropped more than 5 straight since a 2002 8-game slide, and John Fox has a 12-32 record for a franchise-worst .273 winning percentage in 3 seasons coaching the Bears. After the Bengals blew a game they led most of the way on Monday night to Pittsburgh, their postseason chances appear gone. Not that they have been playing poorly lately. Consider that Andy Dalton hasn't thrown an interception since an October 22 loss at Pittsburgh, 176 attempts. San Francisco 210 at Houston 48. Only the 4th meeting of these clubs, and it has little meaning. San Francisco has won 2 of its past 3, and has its likely future QB, Jimmy Garoppolo, running things. He threw for 293 yards last week to set a franchise record for most yards passing in a first start with a team. The one guy who's fun to win this is Houston WR DeAndre Hopkins. He's tied for the NFL lead with 9 TD receptions and has a TD catch in 6 straight home games.